This is the Warminster Town Supporter Podcast, and I'm your host, Roland Millward. And it's now 2020. Yes, the first podcast of the new year. So welcome to all our listeners. Thank you once again for joining us. And let's take a look at some 2020 vision as to what's been happening with Warminster Town and what is about to happen over the coming weeks. So thank you very much for joining us. Stay tuned for Warminster Town Football Club coming up now. So let's kick off the show firstly with a review of the FA Vase Round 4 and what happened when Warminster Town travelled to Bitton AFC. Let's talk about it now with Jamie House. Well, we should have, for the first time for a long time, Mr. Jamie House on the line. How are you, Jamie?
I'm not too bad, thank you. You?
Good, yeah, not bad at all, mate. So it's good to be back, having had a little break from the podcasting. We're now back on air, as it were. So we've got a few things to talk about, but I think we must talk about, first of all, the FA Vase Round 4 and our little trip to Bitton. Yes. What was your view on the game?
It was a fantastic game. It really was a proper cup tie. And, you know, I think Warminster really put their heart and souls into that game as well. You know, and for the first 50 to 60 minutes, they didn't really have a reply to us either. It just goes to show that, you know, how well Warminster played.
They did, yeah, excellent play. All the players, everybody was, as you say, putting their heart and soul in it. People were tracking back, closing down early. Didn't give them an inch really most of the time. So I thought absolutely fantastic performance. A shame about the result, 3-1, which was a little bit deceiving, really.
Yeah, it's not really reflective
not reflective at all, is it? No. And I thought they made their substitutes count as well. The three coming on late.
Yes, they did. They did have a big impact on the game, I think. Yes,
the fresh legs. And of course we had our all new white kit for the first time since it was displayed
finally
online. Yes, yeah, very smart too.
It did look very smart.
So overall, obviously we got the penalty. Jack Miller was brought down, and a penalty. I think a few of the the fans thought it was a little bit soft, but if it's going to be a free kick on the halfway line, it should be a penalty.
It should be a penalty, yes. Yeah.
So that's the way I look at it, and you too. And of course, Ian Jeffrey, back from his holiday, made no mistake in putting that one away. Very strong, powerful penalty, even though the keeper say almost got there, but I think he would have taken his hand off if he'd have got to it anyway.
Well, true.
So we made sure of that one. Shame we lost Jimmers in that one. James Vincent had to come off in that first half through looks like groin strain, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it was a bit unfortunate, especially so early on in the game.
Yeah. So what do you think then? Any particular players stood out to you through the match? I'm going to give them all credit, obviously.
Well, yes, precisely. But I think Ian Jeffrey and Jack Millock really stood out for me, particularly in that game. I think they were all over the place. They won. Obviously, Jack won the penalty as well, and Ian put it away. So yeah. I think those two really stood out, and Tom Pawley as well in the middle had a good game as well.
I was going to say he was excellent on the ball. He didn't seem to fear anybody around him, and had confidence to keep the ball, take it away from them, and make a good pass or two. So I thought, yes, he had a great game as well. So all the players have to give them full credit for that. And can we bring that into the league, though? Is the big question, isn't it now?
Well, I would hope so. I mean, if we played like that every single game against most of the teams in our division, I mean, we'd be promoted come halfway through the season, I reckon.
Be well clear, yeah. Yeah, it's when we play teams like Hengrove and Bristol Telephone. We had a few issues down at the bottom end. So, but never mind. We have to. I must say, I've replayed their first goal back, and that was an excellent goal.
Yes.
I think I have to give them credit for that. Yes.
It was a good effort, that one.
And probably our lads were getting a little bit tired towards the end. Perhaps the fitness levels just showing between the two teams, particularly with their three subs that came on. Nothing that made the difference, gave them that little bit of more freedom. Whereas we've had to substitute for different reasons through the game. So that made a difference there. So thinking about that's over now. We've still got the League Cup to come at some particular point when finally Tavistock and Cleveland do eventually play each other, and we find out where we're going for that one. But back to the league. Let's look at the league tables and see how they look now. Would you like to just run us through the top few and the bottom few just to see where we're at and remind us where Warminster are as well?
Yeah, absolutely. We have Longwell Green Sports at the top of the league on 38 points. No, 39 points. Sorry, beg your pardon. Carntown are just behind them on 38. Ashton and Backwell are third on 36. Wells are fourth on 35. And Sherborne are fifth on 35. And at the bottom, we still have Bristol Telephones. Bishop Sutton are just above them. Devizes just above them. Almondsbury are in 17th and Portishead in 16th to round out the bottom five. And Warminster are currently in 11th. So just in the top half of just at the top of the bottom half of the table.
Yeah, 25 points. It's not a major difference between 25 and 39 in many ways, because
No.
in this league, teams do, have little runs of losses. So
exactly. I mean, we put a string of a few wins together, and we could be well up in the top half of the table again.
Yeah. So it can all change. Plenty to play for. As last season proved, we had a very strong run January onwards, and it just sort of petered to a few draws towards the end, didn't it? But
yes,
finished quite well last season, and if we can get back up in that sort of position, that would be rather nice for Warminster Town to do that, and then move onwards.
Indeed.
So
we've got a couple of challenging games coming up, because obviously we've got Devizes on Wednesday, and then of course we've got Longwell Green, who are at the top of the league, on Saturday at home.
Yes,
so there'll be a couple of challenging games coming up.
It is close to the bottom, which I worry about more than the top ones.
Yeah.
Our track record of anybody beneath has been a little bit dire at times, but let's see what happens. If we can step up the performance again as per Saturday's bit, and then that'll all change, won't it? So just a quick podcast this week. Got to mention though, we've lost somebody over recent weeks at Warminster Town. Have you seen him?
Yes, well, when he was on the pitch, you couldn't miss him. Yeah, the tank Charlie Walton has moved on to higher things with the move to Bradford Avon, or Bradford Town FC. Yeah,
Bradford Town. Yeah, who are doing very, very well.
They are doing very well. Yeah.
Yeah, they're currently lying second, but that's only on goal difference. They got 46 points, as have Plymouth Parkway, so they're doing extremely well. They were top for a short while, weren't they, Bradford as well? So
they were, yes. I think they lost their most recent league game, if I remember correctly. I can't remember who it was against now, but
yeah, doing very well. So
Charlie's got the one before that. They lost to Keynsham 3-1.
Right. Yes. So Charlie, well, best wishes to Charlie. Of course, we've got Tom Pawley back now. If he can start performing like he did on Saturday as well every week, that will be a good thing for Warminster as well. So good stuff. And we must say, what a fantastic away performance from the fans at Bitton. All the Warminster boys that turned up singing away and chanting, I think played their role, made it a great day for the club.
Absolutely, certainly a lot of atmosphere there, and they've been there since the start of the cup. Right, I certainly noticed them for the first time against Portchester. So they've been making a lot of noise since then, and it really added to the atmosphere of the day. And I think it made a big difference in Warminster really wanting to perform in front of their fans, especially at the away games. Where obviously we don't have the home advantage. So all that
very good.
All that support always going to spur the team on.
Brilliant. Yeah, and of course the home gates have been steadily rising. So if we can keep that up at home, lots more attending at Warminster. It's all good for the club. It gives the club much needed funds for improvements as time goes on over the next months and years to improve the ground in many ways as well with the extra attendance money. So let's keep it going. So thank you to everybody for supporting Warminster Town Football Club, I say.
Indeed.
Well, thanks, Jamie, for joining us once again. I shall run through the next few fixtures with everyone. We've mentioned a couple, but I'll do that again just so that people can get their diaries out, write them down so they can come along and support Warminster Town, both home and away. And, of course, if they can't make a match, they can catch us on Periscope, can't they?
Mm-hmm.
So thanks again.
You're very welcome.
And we'll see you soon.
So if you got your pen and paper handy, these are the dates for your diary for forthcoming football matches. Next up is Wednesday 15th of January, a home match for Warminster Town when we welcome Devizes Town, kick-off 7:45. That's followed by a Saturday match on Saturday the 18th of January, a home tie again, Warminster Town versus Longwell Green Sports. Now we'll give you a couple more so you're well in advance of everything happening. Tuesday the 21st of January, an away trip to Bristol Telephones. Now let's see if we can reverse roles on them, for they won at Warminster, so I want to try and get 3 points back really in that match. And then the final one we'll give you is going to be on Saturday 25th of January, another away trip, little trip down the A303, depending which way you go of course, to Wincanton Town. So lots to play for, lots of points potentially on the board for Warminster. So if you can, do come along and support Warminster both home and away. And of course, if you can't make it any time, we'll hopefully be live on Periscope and Twitter. Thank you for listening to the Warminster Town Football Club Supporter Podcast. It's great that you've been here, and I do hope that you will subscribe to this podcast, and I look forward to speaking to you again in the future.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.